The crypto market is undergoing some major shifts here in the short term, but those short-term shifts have major implications for the long-term trend. Bitcoin is still maintaining its long-term parabolic trend, and we have consolidated into this zone, and today we are now breaking above our downward sloping resistance. Ethereum has now printed one of the most historic retests in its history. As far as I'm concerned, this is the first time in history where the market has had a very intentional retest of this level and has very clearly held it. And the S&P 500 is also continuing to trend into new all-time highs. And there's a very important pattern or repeating event that takes place in the market, and that is that if you're bullish going into the holidays, your holidays are bullish. And if you're bearish going into the holidays, your holidays are bearish. And we're going to talk about that today. Across the market, everything is green. If you look at CoinGecko, the top 100 coins, just about everything is in the green today. Awesome to see. This means that the altcoins are starting to get volume, and alt season is very likely already here and just getting started. Today I put on a bunch of longs for a bunch of different altcoins, and all of them are in the green already. I am trading on BloFin, the BloFin Exchange. They have every altcoin you could possibly imagine. And if this is going to be alt season, this is the exchange that you want to trade on. If you use my link below, you get 20% cash back on all of your trading fees. Saving 20% on all of your trading fees equals a lot of money in the long term that you're getting back into your account every single day that you're trading. You're getting cash back from your trades in your account. It is a no-brainer, guys. Sign up for BloFin today using that link below. And now let's get started. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Kevin Svenson, and today we have a lot to discuss. I haven't been doing all that many videos recently in recent history because there hasn't been much to talk about, and I don't make videos unless there's something to talk about because I don't want to waste your time and I don't want to waste my time. But here today we have pretty important updates here. Yesterday I posted this tweet discussing the Bitcoin weekly chart when we were sitting at 114,000, and we talked about the measured move of this pattern landing us at around 135,000. A few hours after making that post, we started to break out, and now if we go to the current chart for Bitcoin and zoom in on the daily, you can see that we have broken our downward sloping resistance. Of course, we're waiting for daily close confirmation, which is just a few hours away, and that would be above 115,800 would be a confirmed break of our consolidation pattern. And the measured move, the next target for this breakout, if you place that extrapolation, the height of the pattern on the breakout zone, that lands you at roughly, depending on if you're looking at linear or log scale, about 135,000. Depending on where you draw it from, it could be 135,800 as the next major breakout target, right? The next move, the next pump should be taking us up there in about a month or so, maybe 2 to 5 weeks, I would say. Because if you look at all of these past zones where we've seen major pumps, each one of these pumps takes place basically within a month or so. Some of them take a little bit longer, some of them are shorter even, but the meat of the move is about 5 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks back in early 2024, and over here at the end of 2024. And then after the tariffs took, 4 or 5 weeks. And then the last pump we had was about 3 weeks. So I'm saying about a month, we could be expecting Bitcoin to be sitting at 135,800. I think it's quite likely. I don't see why not. This consolidation is shorter than all of our previous consolidations. And that is actually exactly what we want to see, and actually makes sense because, well, we're in a parabolic trend. It's exponential. So each consolidation should be getting shorter and shorter and shorter as we enter our vertical stage, when the price quite literally starts to go vertical. And this has been a really long build-up to this point since the end of 2022. We've been talking about the parabolic trend really since 2023, and now you're seeing the full extent of it, and the next parabolic advance would become a vertical advance. And 135,000 is just the next technical target, but the actual peak of this parabola will likely be something different. Probably somewhere in between 140 to 150,000. More specifically, the specific price target that I have is 142,500 as a sort of rough yet specific estimate on the cycle peak target. But I'm very open to the idea that it could be more or less. I'm not really too keen on being perfectly right about the exact dollar amount, But in between 140, 150,000 appears to be a really nice spot for us to peak going into the new year. Again, it could vary. There could be slight variation on that where we actually end up going, but somewhere in there. Now, seasonality, as a lot of you guys may know, seasonality suggests that September is bearish and October is a rebound month, meaning that October is usually a bullish month. And we're starting off exactly what we would want to see, a nice green weekly here going into the first day of October. And one thing that I noticed, I was talking about this today in our Patreon Discord voice chat, which is every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. It's about a 2-hour long voice chat every Monday, Wednesday, Friday for Patreon members that connect to Discord. Today we were discussing how when you're bullish going into the holidays, you stay bullish for the holidays, or you're hitting some sort of major peak in that zone. And if you're bearish going into the holidays, you stay bearish for the holidays. And actually, you can go way back in time. You know, most holidays, most end of year areas, you see that if you're bullish going into it, you usually have a bullish outcome throughout your holiday season. If you go to the end of 2014, if you're bullish going into the holidays, well, you have a very bullish holiday season. And if you're bearish going into the holidays, well, you have a very bearish holiday season, right? Christmas, you got coal in 2014, right? And then 2015, you can see we came up going into the holidays and we stayed bullish going into the holidays. And you can just keep looking at the charts at the end of every year. 2017, you're bullish going into the holidays and you stay bullish for the holidays. And you go to the end of 2017, bullish at the holidays and you stay bullish going into the end of the year. And then 2018, you're bearish going into the holidays and you stay bearish, right? This is repeating. It goes on 2021, 2022, right? You're bullish going into the holidays and then you're bearish going into them and you stay bearish. It just repeats every single year. You guys get the point. What do we see right now? We see Bitcoin is bullish going into the holidays, which means we'll probably stay bullish going into the holidays, right? I mean, that's what data shows. That's what everything is pointing to right now. Seasonality, the charts, the trends, most things are pointing to a bullish holiday season. And it's very likely that at this point, you know, in my opinion, Bitcoin has done its job, right? It's gone from 15,000 to 124,000 and likely is going to continue to 140, 150,000. How much more can we expect after the holidays? I personally wouldn't expect all that much more out of this market after, you know, Q2 of next year. After Q2 of next year, I'm going to be kind of on the cautious side. You know, we've had a really good run for Bitcoin. And if alt season kicks off now and we have alts flying going into Q2 of next year, at that point, I think it'd be time to back off the market, take profit, and be a little cautious. But from here until then, I think Bitcoin can sustain higher prices. You know, maybe we peak going into the end of the year, but we actually end up sustaining higher levels before a bear market begins. So we sit up there for a while. And while Bitcoin's sitting up there, altcoins are flying. That's basically how I see this playing out. So if Bitcoin was able to settle up at a much higher level and stay up there, altcoins would thrive in that environment. And then a bear market after Q2. That's what I see moving forward. Ethereum right now, we're above 4,300. Again, we've flipped a major resistance into new support. This is a major signal for me personally. I mean, we've never done anything quite like that before where we actually held it. And especially if we see continuation off that level, it just shows that there's a lot of intention behind this weekly close and that we're aiming for that all-time high. Now, the really interesting thing about the altcoins and Ethereum and how they've been so different from the S&P and Bitcoin, which have just been trending up for years now, basically. If you look at the Russell 2000, which is the low cap stock index, and you look at Ethereum, look how similar they are. They have the same peaks, the same pullbacks, right? The Russell 2000 pulled back, you know, at the end of 2024, it peaked, and then pulls back into the tariff scare and hits 2018 levels. The Russell retested 2018 levels. Look at Ethereum. Tariff scare, it retested 2018 levels. It's the exact same chart. And you guys know Wall Street has stepped onto the scene here in crypto. And it seems like, you know, altcoins, looking at the total 3, it's also the same chart. Look at the total 3 right here. You can see it's also just the same as Ethereum and the Russell. You had a peak in the end of 2024 with a major pullback, not quite to 2018 levels, But look at the total 3 sitting next to the all-time high, and you pull up the Russell. It's the same type of setup. Ethereum, same type of setup. Slight variation, but it's almost exactly the same for Ethereum, the Russell, and the total 3. So one of the signals, you guys know that I usually look at the S&P 500 for guidance on market direction for Bitcoin, the correlation. But what I'm doing now, more than ever, is I'm looking at the Russell for guidance on market direction for the altcoins. They've been more correlated to the Russell than I've ever seen before, and it makes sense. Wall Street's here, and altcoins are being treated and regarded like low-cap stocks, and that's basically the best conclusion I can come to. Why are these charts the same? Well, Wall Street is likely playing them in the same way that they would the stocks that are sitting in the Russell 2000. So this is how I see things playing out in the way that I'm analyzing and approaching my analysis at this moment. You guys know for Bitcoin, I'm looking for 140, 150,000 on the next major parabolic advance with an initial target of 135,800. Ethereum, if you take a look at Ethereum here and you go back to the previous cycle and you pull out your fib extensions from highest high to lowest low, you'll see that we reached the 1414 fib on log scale, right? That 1414 fib was the cycle peak target. And if you were to fib from high to low and look for a similar target in this cycle, that would be 9,880. That is the next possible, or 10,000, depending on how you want to look at it, a whole number, 10,000. That could be the next major target for Ethereum. The total 3, this is a very straightforward analysis, and this is the altcoin market cap excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. So everything but Bitcoin and Ethereum. The total 3 has a very, very straightforward trend. It's an upward sloping channel. And the next target in this channel is 2 trillion. And that's something that I'm looking for by the end of the year. So I think it's very likely to come over the next few months. So yeah, I mean, alt season is, we're on the cusp. We're on the cusp of it. It's right around the corner. It's maybe even here. Maybe by the time you're watching this, you're going to start to see more and more pumps as the total 3 crosses into new all-time highs and the Russell 2000 potentially crosses into new all-time highs and Ethereum gears up for its all-time high break. Things are probably going to be really good this holiday season. Everything's set up for it. I'm definitely prepared for it. I hope you guys are too. BloFin is the exchange that I'm using for trading on a daily, weekly basis, day trades, swing trades, and they have really every single altcoin. I mean, the list here, the list of listings is expansive. It's, you know, they list faster. They list new coins faster than any exchange, faster than Bybit, faster than Binance. The new coin listings are lightning fast, and sometimes that's what you need if you want to catch the new opportunities. Use that link below, get 20% cash back on all of your trading fees. And also there's currently some bonuses available for all of you guys, all of my viewers. Take a look at what you can do to get these futures bonuses, to have some extra capital to use as collateral or to trade with. Check out these bonuses. Read the rules below to see what you have to do to get the bonuses. And that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you all in the next one.